on to our sixth and final question. I'll start this round with Bill. Make sure that I'm correct. Yes. Okay. Given your experience with both non-core curriculum and extracurricular activities, namely sports, art, music, should more cuts be required? Which do you think benefits the most students, and which would you work harder to save from those cuts, and why?
Ouch. Okay, I'm a musician. Let's start there. And I believe profoundly in the arts. Last question, right, Tim?
Last.
So this is where we bring the heavies.
Yeah, but fun,
No, this will be it. The arts are all there is, folks. I love sports. I was the announcer for the JV football team for the past 5 years. Loved it. Loved screaming out, matriculate that football down the field. Watching Mr. and Mrs. Malloy laugh about it. I love sports. I want to see the kids get out there and compete and engage. But I also like hanging out in Linda's room and now Kate Thomas's room and messing around with the kids in the band and playing for graduation. And I'm going to say this very seriously. I have never met a musician that wasn't happy when he or she was playing, ever. And all of the research, especially recently over the past 10, 12 years, with the introduction of the fMRI, the functional MRI, Daniel Levinson in particular has done most of the work. The research we get that comes back and shows us that both hemispheres of the brain are balanced and working equally when one is studying music or working in arts. And I hope I don't run out of time, but what helps make us, not what helps, what makes us uniquely human, we can see in evidence in the various magazines that display the beautiful caves of Lascaux in France. I mean, why do so many people all over this planet say, wow, look what they did in those caves in the dark? They're not celebrating what some deer or bison painted on the walls, folks. They're celebrating what us humans painted on the walls, folks. That's what separates us out. You cannot afford to take a penny away from your children's education in those things that have to do with human intellect. It is what you are.
I'm sorry. Time's up.
Don't apologize. It's okay. I got the words in.
You did. Next we'll go to Linda for your number 6 question. In a perfect world, if you could eliminate any expense from the budget, what would that be, and where would you reallocate the money?
Well, as you probably can imagine, we've already cut expenses to the bone. I mean, we had community meetings to talk about what needed to be cut. This was way back when Tim Baird was our superintendent. We have many very conscientious classified staff who, by the way, were willing to take a 3% pay cut this year in order to preserve jobs. They've confided into me that their service, the numbers of their workers have been cut so much, it's really difficult for them to do a good job. And they're worried about the fact that they aren't able to really serve our students well. Our teachers have their backs to the wall. They're, as Kevin mentioned, his child is in very large classes. I was thinking about that, what could we do? I thought, okay, if we turn off the lights, just all over the district, turn off the lights, and then we would reinstate summer school. I really feel that that's a really important thing. We've lost our funding for summer school about 5 years ago for elementary children, and I feel that that has been a detriment for their educational process. In a real perfect world, I would like to see Ventura College come up here, perhaps take over this facility, turn it into a satellite campus for community college and for career technical education, so that the young adults in our community could advance their education at home, wouldn't have to drive outside of the valley. I think that would be my ideal.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And we're all set. Okay, thank you. Thayne. In November, the board will receive a recommendation from your superintendent regarding the two charter school proposals. Prior to receiving that report, what are your thoughts about the proposal? And do you anticipate supporting one or both? Why or why not?
Right. Several thoughts on that. One, as I talked about a little bit before, I really like the idea of parents and children getting the education that they want, that they desire, that's tailored to them, and where there are opportunities that the Ojai Unified School District can tailor those through charter schools, through whatever other means. I really want to look at that and see what can be done. On the other hand, we've been given by Education Code 5 criteria we need to look at in whether we can approve a charter school or not. And without going into that detail because of the time, I'll simply say that I spent a lot of the day today working with our financial team, because I do have a lot of experience in building businesses and building organizations and looking at the financials that they've put together. And we did spend some time evaluating a lot of those issues, a lot of those topics. That will go into the recommendation, and then we'll have to look at it. I think, as mentioned by everyone before, there are a lot of unanswered questions that we have to come to grips with before anybody can make a reasonable or rational decision. And that's what we're working very hard towards.
And our last moderated question for the night is for Kevin. Kevin, your younger child attends preschool outside of the district also. Why aren't they in the district?
Well, my youngest child is 3, and he's not eligible to attend.
Attending preschool, the district does have a preschool program.
I was not even aware that they had a preschool program, but you know, I just wasn't aware of it. And we have previously sent our daughter to Monica Ross, and it's around the corner from where we live, and we like it a lot. And we certainly love the transition from Monica Ross to kindergarten, and it worked great for her, and I'm going to believe it's going to work well for him as well.